What's up, TBT?
What's up, baby?
What's up, baby?
What's good? Good in the hood.
Going down. How y'all boys doing, man?
Man, we good, man.
Yes, sir.
Hey, we back with another episode. I'm just happy to be here right now.
I am too.
Yeah.
Y'all
Blessed
know
to be here.
Definitely blessed to be here. I was absent last episode, so
We here,
good to
man.
be back in the
bum.
seat.
Man, we here, man. We here, man.
Welcome
Good
back,
to be
you
back in the
bum.
seat. Don't say shit, real.
Did you go to the eye doctor?
Don't say
when you was
shit,
gone?
real.
Be clean. Boy, be clean with them glasses, though. That boy clean with them glasses.
Well, I woke up this
Looking like a
morning.
prestigious
Woke
bum
up this
over
morning. Had to
What?
throw them on.
Be a special episode,
Yeah,
special edition.
there. Gotta be.
yeah.
Must be dealing with education. His show look like an educated bum right now with those glasses. boy.
Don't he? He look like
Guest in the
Intellectual
house, man.
bum.
Y'all gonna show out
That's
with
prestigious
guests in the house?
You right.
Huh?
POP, what we got today, baby?
POP, I like that jersey.
You like that?
I like that.
That boy representing Willie Tiger. Ray
Hey, you know,
Boca Raton.
real talk though. I had to clear a bet, man. I had a bet with a Gator Bond. We bet head up, and they wanted to bet money. I'm like, man, I ain't got no damn money, cuz. They say you lose, I gotta wear Gator colors on your Troof Betold show. So I'm just honoring my bet. But say Gator paraphernalia. That's why I flipped it with the orange, and I got Florida. I'm still rep. And if we wouldn't have,
Guys from Uranus, man. He ain't normal, dog.
Shit.
He is not normal.
I'm rolling with my dog Coach T. We took a L yesterday, but we good. Right, conference play FIU October 2nd. Let's go, man. Y'all all right?
Let's go,
We
bro.
good, man. We good.
Let's get
jump.
in it, man.
Let's get in this, cause
Let's jump.
All right, man. We got two special guests in the house, man. One, you know, we gotta show some big love to because this legit, you know, made season 1 pilot episode. Ed Hundley, and the LMA situation. So we got Ed Hundley returning. We appreciate you. How you doing? Good.
Sir.
But in addition to that, we have former LMA, actually former district employee. And if you've been following the situation, you know what's been going on that a little bit more today. All right, so you here? I see you. You ain't going nowhere. You here?
he back.
Welcome back,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
You ain't going
welcome
nowhere.
back.
One thing about it, he ain't scared now.
No.
That man ain't scared, boy.
He back.
He
Went
back.
off in the day.
They did.
How did you fare on the course, good sir?
I took a little bit of money from a few people.
Okay. So you still up in it. You ain't going nowhere because there's so many rumors that you just felt, man. So you still here, man. I bet you still like them.
A loss today. We're getting very good at taking close losses. They like doing that, but I mean, I think rest of y'all call that rebuilding, so I'm gonna call it that too.
Ooh.
Was it a
Still,
giant?
and I'm assuming he still like the Knicks, same. Still like the Yankees.
Certain things ain't gonna change. We need to ask questions that reveal new information, dog. We don't need to talk about
I'm talking about. See,
Well, what's new is my Atlanta Braves in first. He talking about
This
he ain't
man
finna
ain't
just come on my
scared.
show talking shit about what he. Well, go ahead then. First of all, I got a question then. Since all of this been going on, man, you have you been able to find a job? And before you out there's a rumor had it that you put in an application at the board and you actually were denied because there was an applicant more qualified. Is there any truth to that?
Is there truth to I or truth to the fact that he was more qualified?
Situation that occurred.
Well, first of all, I respect whoever the Boys and Girls Club chose to hire because I don't know that man, so I'm not going to tear him down to big myself. He may very well be more qualified. That job is one that I was willing to take because it would have given me an opportunity to continue working with the kids in this community. As you know, I helped design Palmetto L, which shares with the new Boys and Girls Club.
Absolutely.
So I've always had him. shared facility usage, all types of things. But, I respect their position. If they say they have someone that's more qualified and with more experience than me, then they have one heck of a director over there. So I say congratulations to them.
So you haven't. Well, so how's it been in regards to seeking employment? Like, because real talk, I don't think people realize how much this whole impacted you from a financial the details. But
well, I will. I don't mind speaking on that. I am the most, in my opinion, highly qualified unemployed person for sure. Mm-hmm. And what we need politics are more than the presidential election, and politics have much bigger impact than whether or not we go to war or not. Politics that outlets, which would be the Braden Herald and the Herald Tribune, to take full. I mean, it swallowed the whole hook when the district threw that nonsense out. There were multiple about alleged missing money, about mismatch. And then, if you notice, for the last year, you haven't heard anything because now we have the ball. We went off defense. Now we're on offense. We present the facts. We put everything. Unfortunately, they're not as zealous about. I would imagine if people knew, oh, wow, that water bill really was fraudulent. Oh, wow, the mayor and Saunders really did email back and forth and try to set him up. He really isn't a threat to the health, safety, and welfare. Maybe people would be more apt, but unfortunately, they still have the out of what the media said. So I respect that. It would take a real person. Hey, man, I know what's happening to you. I got a job for you. But unfortunately, that person has not stepped forward yet. So if I'm going to be here, it looks like I'm going to be unemployed.
Okay, so let me go back to I believe it was May 2020, and the district, the school board of Manatee County, was put on a 21-day clock in regards to responding. I mean, it was pretty much either present the evidence or fold. Elaborate on that as to what happened, because
speaking about the motion for summary judgment, and the total time is a 30-day clock. And then we started talking about it around 21 days. So as you're aware, federal lawsuit, and that we're actually the plaintiffs. They're the defendants. We're not, I'm not worried. It's about them. It's not about us. But in that lawsuit, when you put in for some, what that means is you present to the judge, they can't refute these facts. So since these are indeed facts, there's no need to even go to court. You can rule right now and we're done. The school district and the city of Palmetto, their defense has only keep it out of court. That's their defense. If you go on the docket, everybody can go read it themselves. They can't even provide answers to what we're saying they did because they did it. So they put it to dismiss, which is standard, and it's god-awful weak. I mean, they all three of them put in 3 pretty weak reasons, but until the judge rules on the motions to dismiss, the time doesn't start on the motions for. And it's a federal judge, it's a federal case. We all have our theories about why it's taking so long, but I can promise you it's not because of anything with me. I'm prayerful that they're looking into them and they get to deal with more than just paying me. They may have.
So how long could this process kind of carry out? Do you
chooses to do so? We're in federal court. Here's what I can tell you. I've been on, this is my second time on here.
Wasn't there a case? I don't mean to cut you off, but wasn't there a case, a date set?
The trial date.
Trial date.
The trial date was set for September. The judge didn't rule on the motions to dismiss. Everything stops. And now it's just postponed indefinitely. And like I said, what I can tell you, I'm here. The district, elected officials, I'm not going to say names right now. Some elected officials are saying things like, we can't speak about that. That's nonsense. There's nothing to hide here. We're suing them. Here's what we're suing them for. Either they did it or they didn't. didn't do it, they can produce something to show. What's happening now is a stall game. It's been 2 years, folks, and there is nothing. And I'm going to slide over this way a little bit, and I just, don't y'all say on the record?
On the record, baby.
I'm going on the record. Let me bamboozle.
The record.
Quentin Peterson is not my homie. I mean, he's a young African-American male who was a phenomenal music teacher. He's not my buddy outside of, didn't hook him up with anything. He performed and he did his job, okay? But I want to make sure people know everything that took place because people did not follow the rules. And just like in this court case, they're not following the rules. They're telling people they can't speak on something that's public information. Everything the school district does is. So if they had proof that there was missing money, they're supposed to give it to you. If they have a statute that shows I'm a threat to kids and you ask for it, they're supposed to give it to you. If they had proof that the water bill was legitimate, to give it to you. Instead, we have people going to board at you like you're crazy. They don't answer and they don't provide it, and that's because they don't have it.
Well, speaking
Wow,
of a
man.
board member, Charlie Kennedy, and you correct me if I'm wrong, the board chair
Correct.
of Manatee County.
Correct.
As far as filling out an affidavit, a written affidavit, correct, which basically, what you affidavit?
Yeah, there's no basically. I have. He gets beaten up because people want him to. He stepped out there.
Right,
They want him to step all the way out there.
right,
They want him to show out. Like if you look at one of the board meetings in Broward or Dade, those board members go in. If it's something that some bull,
Right.
and they do it.
right.
That's not Charlie Kennedy's nature, and I can't make it his nature, so I don't get mad. Could he, Reverend Golden, when he says those inappropriate, untrue, choosing not to? Could he say at the board meeting, "This is false. I'm not willing to go along with this. I make a motion that we do this," and force the record as not being willing to do the right thing? But he doesn't. What he chose to do, which is more powerful than any of that, is write a sworn affidavit. This is the board chair. Let's just think about what's happening here. The board said there was no threat, missing money, and the accusations in this notice of termination weren't accurate, and he feels it was designed to try and take the school. You have the chair of the board saying, yet I'm still answering to the community talking about what I'm not. This is it right here. Truth be told, if you ask me after today, you might get a fair one.
Hey, man. You know what, Ed? I wanna recognize your courage, because the reason I'm saying this because I hear so many in this community. They just say, why don't Ed Hundley just give up? Man, he's not gonna beat the school board, man. He's not gonna beat those folks. Just give up. He's not from Manatee County. This man got a New York swag. New York swag got him fighting, you know. And I got to recognize that, man, because he's not giving up. And it's been how many years, Ed?
It's been 3, but Mr. Green, the God Bobber, is that correct? My own love, rep, and I'll die with New York. It has nothing to do with New York, man.
Well, what I'm saying,
what I'm repping, and why I can't quit is because I was there. I saw kids. I know what it would mean to the other kids. It kills me that they would be willing to kill something like that and replace it with the garbage that they have there right now. And just so I don't have to deal with. When I say garbage, everybody who works there now, I'm not calling you garbage. You only can do what the system you're involved in allows you to do. So I'm not disrespecting teachers. I'm saying if you were at LMA, unless you're willing to tell a lie, you know there's no comparison in what they're doing. So that's all I'm saying. Those people are hardworking folks, but they're in that system, and I understand that. So
I was just recognizing that
I
because
appreciate it though.
51 years old, I've been in Manatee County all my life. I just never seen no county school board the way he does it.
Yeah, we usually
And the way he do it.
man,
Even though
just take a back seat and just let whatever.
Because you got people in this
decision
county
they
that know
make,
stuff
just
is
let that
right
be
or
it.
wrong,
Yeah,
but he just won't say it.
Right,
Ed fighting him, man. Ed ain't giving up.
been 3 years now, right?
Correct.
And I believe your license or your certificate was taken for 5.
Yes.
So you have 2 more years.
Mm-hmm.
Happens after that 5th year, your license back. Are you thinking about making a comeback? And if so, if you are, would it be in Manatee County?
First of all, I'll never work for the district, school district of Manatee County or the Florida Department of Education. I have to practice what I preach. And if I'm asking everybody out there to just and acknowledge there is corruption at the district level, and then I turn around and sign back on, I'm the very thing that I'm preaching against. So no, because contrary, I don't need a certificate to. Definitely don't need a certificate to be the CEO of the company that runs the charter school, and I have no intentions. Would I ever apply in another state or whatever? I don't know, but I can tell you definitively, unless there is some remarkable overhaul, and even then, I got work to do. I got to get back to this school and this community and these kids right here. So my intention is that charter school running again.
Okay, so technically, your license is suspended in Florida.
Well, it's suspended in Florida. However, all other states typically, and I can tell you a story.
Crazy.
This is facts. Not because I was escaping, but because I know who I am, like everyone else knows who they are. And if I would have had to stay around here every day and look at people who helped sabotage, people who just turned the other way, that wouldn't have been a good. I moved to Atlanta, Georgia. While in Atlanta, I decided to get my certificate in real estate. Little did I know, in Atlanta, there's only one body over all certificates. It's separate in Florida. Teachers, so a barber and all those things, that's separate from teachers. So I did all of that, passed the class, passed the test, and couldn't get it because my license was suspended here. And when he called, when I talked to him, he asked me, well, what happened? I said, I'll appeal. He said, what happened? I told him. He said, come on, you got your certificate revoked for writing a reference for someone? Did the guy do X, Y? No, he's never been found to do anything. They revoked it, and he called Florida. This is COSEC, who's over professional practices, and checked and called me back and said, I apologize for what happened to you. This man apologized and then said, I tell you, Florida and all other states, time they honor
Connected.
what the other state said. Yeah. So it indirectly, it would prevent me from going anywhere.
My goodness, man.
Wow. So yeah, just to off of that. Then recently you had a hearing. Could you elaborate on what happened with that?
Yes. You know, when you I think Mike Tyson said everybody got a plan till they get punched in the face. We went up a smooth plan. Let me not say we. Cool and smooth, because I already knew and what was going on. But we went, my attorney, his objective was different. And then the people, we had 20 people, including Mr. Peterson, to support. So the people who came to support were looking for them my certificate back because it's absolutely ridiculous. At this point, it's ridiculous. Everybody knows the facts and they're still not giving it back. That wasn't going to happen. And then I was looking for punishment that they screwed me over. That didn't happen either. But what he wanted to do was to get on the record that even if what they did was legit, let's act like that was legit. It doesn't prevent me from being of a company that runs a charter school. So all that nonsense is nonsense. And we got that on the record. So that was on the record. So we did accomplish that. But let me just break this down. I'm going to ask you a question and everybody else that sees this. Finish this statement. The Florida Department of Education has Quentin Peterson's license and barred him from applying again because, and they can't fill that in because the man is guilty of anything. And then you have to make it even worse. We took Ed Hundley's certificate for 5 years because we believe he gave a reference to Quentin Peterson who shouldn't get a reference because they can't answer that. So what's happening now, we literally have down because they would either have to admit they made a horrible mistake. And I'm going to tell every black man, white man, purple man, everybody in this room, especially my African-American, listen to this. When you are denied due process, that this Constitution takes care of all of us the same way all the time, you're mistaken. When Mr. Peterson was accused of anything, you're supposed to be removed, you're placed, it's investigated. If you did it, that's your, you go to jail, that's that. If you didn't do it, then that's it, and you're supposed to be allowed to come back. What they did is take action against both of us before there was ever that they could say happened.
Right.
So they took my certificate. Then 7 months later, when they realized, damn, Hundley doesn't have it and Peterson still had it because he was getting due process at first. So then they give him the same DOA judge that I rule against herself, and she took his certificate. 2.5 years later, you have 2 African-American males who have their certificates revoked, and there hasn't been one crime. And when I say one crime, not in any of these, and if you look at them, 3 of the 4 are just ridiculous. But if you look at them, there were no findings. And I want to make sure you understand that wasn't my decision. The investigation is conducted by Palmetto Police and the school district. And they couldn't find anything. And these are the main people trying to prosecute this man. Never a finding, but already they took our certificate. I want to go back on that.
I gotta dive in real quick because you mentioned the investigation on Mr. Peterson, and there was rumor that in a CPS report it was stated verified, which I'm not like the most educated brother, but verified findings to me means like concrete evidence, like no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Correct.
So was that a rumor? And if it wasn't a rumor, if it was reported, then up.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm tired of answering questions, so I'm gonna answer your question by posing a question.
Gotcha.
That CPS report that you speak of, we were never supposed to find out about. Peterson, who finally got it from Palmetto Police, but in this CPS report, they alleged that the young lady who had just said, and I've never been in a relationship with Mr. Peterson, back in the Palmetto Police during the summer and told them she was in a relationship, that they sent pictures back and forth, that they had sex on school grounds, they had sex in the parking lot. Now, any administrator, any friend of an administrator knows if a kid said these things happened on school grounds, the very first thing you're doing is pulling those cameras. But if they saw Mr. Peterson walking up the hallway with her, might be done. Palmetto Police, and again, this is not all Palmetto Police officers, but those involved, let's have it. They never notified alleged happenings. They never checked to see if there were other little girls that Mr. Peterson was sleeping with on campus, allegedly. But they did use that to get a search. And when they got that search warrant and took all of his, the reason you didn't hear anything about that anymore is because it came back completely false. Zero communication between him and that young lady. Zero Snapchats. Zero text. Zero. So they didn't even care about that. All of a sudden, that didn't. Allegedly, they found these home run hitting pictures with this other girl that the jury just said not guilty and hung jury on. They're supposed to be so just, you're done. And 2 years later, he's still sitting there.
He is sitting. He right
He's
here.
sitting right
He
there.
right here, man.
Man, how you, where you at, man? Where you at space wise, man? Because you've had some trials and tribulations here with 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, no, invite me out here
Yes, sir.
to hear my side of it.
Appreciate you coming.
But it took me a little bit. You know, this has been going on for about 4 years. It took me about one kind of mentally figure out like what's going on. You know, not teaching because again, that's my passion. Like it just sucked having to have your whole life taken away from you. But after the second year, it was easier. It was just like, hey man, what are they gonna do to me? So it's nothing to be afraid of. I know I had amazing people behind me that supported me, and then this year, even before the verdict, I was just even more confident. And the prosecutor coming in there saying, "Hey, we got a sweet deal that we're gonna get." Even my defense attorney saying this is a pretty good deal, but it's ultimately like your decision whether you're gonna make it, whether you're gonna do it or not. And I told her no, and that was because it just took me 4 years to make sure that I was ready and me and stuff, and, you know, and came out, I won.
What sweet deal,
Man.
The original deal was they offered, I think, 7 months in jail and maybe a year probation.
That
And
ain't
then-
no
and
sweet-
then- That was the
Shit, I don't
first
give
deal.
a
I think
damn.
that was the first.
7 hours in jail ain't no damn sweet deal to me. Shit.
Yeah, and then I think the second that was the first one. Then the second deal I think was like 3 registration, and that's it. And then was, hey, look, we'll even just give you child abuse, no registration, no nothing, just leave.
It sounded like they were just
They was just trying to pin
Man,
something.
they
on
just
you,
they
man.
just
And
needed
they know they
to
didn't
get-
have anything, so they. Hey man, just take this
Yeah,
right
and
now.
then so you have prior to the case, and each docket hearing they would go, hey, we want to make sure Mr. Peterson knows that deal is still on the table. If you want to take it, my attorney looks at me and she goes, we're good. And that was every time.
But Quentin, attorney to come to you and say, "Hey, this is a sweet deal," like is she not having faith in like, hey man, this man is really innocent?
I don't believe like that was the case. It was just like, hey, I legally have to let
They cannot.
Right.
The lawyer can't decide for you. They have to say,
They
they
have
have
to
to tell
inform
you
you.
the blood raw, and then
Yeah.
you make your decision.
Okay.
And I heard somebody say it sounds like they really didn't have. Listen to me. This has been going on 3.5 years. Because one or however many jurors decided on the second count they weren't sure. So you're not guilty on one and not sure on the other, and it's basically the same thing. It's the, so people got to understand what that means. That saying this was some bull. They're not saying that.
It's definitely some
it's
bull.
like it was some bull, but it could be. And the same thing with Ed Brodsky or the trying this again. I want y'all to think about this. Y'all got really hurting, harming, doing stuff to kids,
Absolutely.
and they getting off, and they get off on a technicality and get off, and they let I'm sorry, they let it go.
Right.
This they had 3 years, super tight case together. They read 5 times
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah,
They had all the time in
we're
the
supposed
world
to go January of 2019.
of 2019,
And
and
then
it took all the way to 2021, and they still didn't do it with this ironclad photos and all this stuff. Is simply to cover up everything I talked about, cover up the DOE, because if he was found completely innocent, even though right now petition them or sue them for taking his certificate, you're not supposed to lose anything until you're found guilty of something. So now they got, if they don't do that, what are you going to say? My bad? Mr. Peterson, we kind of ruined your name all in the media. We put this burden on you and your family. Mr. Hundley, oh man, we forgot about you. We also try to destroy you. And then even though you weren't working for us, we tried to use that very thing to destroy the company running a school and helping kids. Shocked that one or two jurors maybe said, I'm not sure.
Right. Quentin, what exactly were the charges?
Both counts were
Both counts.
yeah. I gotta interrupt because he's a pastor. That's why I want to punch him in the face. It was 2 counts of possession of child porn. What does that mean? Anybody who opens up he was sleeping with a kid, that's slander. Because he's slept with a kid, never been arrested for sleeping with a kid.
Never.
Going to court is not for anything to do with sleeping with a kid, and it's damn sure not a Lincoln Middle kid. And just for the out there, just like the EPC getting it wrong, dude, he never worked for LMA one day in his life. It was a district kid, which means it was the district's responsibility, which means if they didn't handle it right and they didn't report, they didn't, just like that letter we sent out from commissioner are statutorily required to report it, then the commissioner just says, oh, well, never mind. But then you're going to make up a new rule that I was supposed to know something and report it. It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping with a kid, nothing to do with molesting a kid, nothing to do with a Lincoln Memorial Academy or Lincoln Middle kid.
So none of this has anything to do with sleeping with a kid. It's all about he supposedly had.
I'm going on the record.
My goodness.
I'm going on the record. Anybody in 45, 55 years of age has that homeboy that sends those text messages with pictures. We don't know what those pictures are. You open it, man, read it. But that's the same thing here. There's a photo on your device. They didn't even establish. The man said, I didn't get that. I didn't put that on my device, blah, blah, blah. The forensics guy confirmed on his computer. It never was on his phone. Or from another device that doesn't belong to him, which is right in line with what he said and what the alleged victim testified to.
Oh my
The
God.
victim
crazy,
testified.
That's crazy, man.
Oh
You know
my
what?
God.
So no, there was never any findings whatsoever of abuse, especially sexual abuse of any child.
But just imagine if Quentin his ground and just fought for his innocence. Y'all got me. And
Right.
He'd had to take the
you
deal.
going down for something you didn't do.
B, you said, I'm sorry, Reggie. You just said something that's y'all gonna have to do. What you just said happens to because y'all gotta understand it is a feeling of complete helplessness when this first happens. When you're standing there and somebody's telling you, you imagine how they're like, oh, you did so and so, or and you're like, what? And it just gets perpetuated, and you keep going to those courtrooms, and you're like, you got to decide: is the fix on all the way up, or am I gonna get a fair shake from the judge? So many people just say, I'll just take this damn plea and deal with that instead of getting that max.
Yeah.
And it's scary. So it did take courage.
That's very scary because when
man.
you look back at history, you see how many black men are even crimes they didn't commit.
Absolutely.
Because they just say, okay, man, goddamn,
Right.
I can't deal with this shit no more. Whatever, I did it,
Yeah.
Right.
But y'all standing in the paint and y'all fighting. You know what I'm saying? That speaks volumes.
So Quentin, I'm glad you hit on that because I gave an example and just to imagine that you were in that position in the first place. But let me ask you this. I don't know what the max was. If they what that possibly could look like down the road. Know what that possibly could be. And you still said, no, I'm not taking it because you were standing on your innocence. I can only imagine you were in that position where Ed was just referring. Right now, you're walking every single day, knowing that you still really don't know because they still want to try you on that second charge, right?
Yeah.
And you this situation, so you still in a state of unknown. walking every single day, how are you feeling? Right.
I mean, prior to July 22nd or July 21st, whatever day it was, I mean, I was real unsure. I don't know what kind of jury I'm gonna get. I know the facts. I knew all of that. The issue was I just didn't know really how people think, and that was what I was worried about.
Right.
But as we progressed through the trial itself, I started to see like, oh, they said we're giving, and then once we got the verdict, we got the mistrial and the not guilty. That's when I got more confidence. And then I think it became like mid-August. My attorney said, "Hey, we gotta. Hopefully they'll drop." I started to feel more confident. Even the feeling is still heavy, but because I went through the trial, because I saw all the games they were playing, I feel way more confident.
Okay.
Like I think I have a good. I can get people in there just to kind of see the facts, and some of the facts coming out, and that'll help. And I think that made it. That's making it a lot better. You know,
Right.
I know they have the trial planned for November 15th or something like that, but I'm not as worried as I was beforehand because I know the facts, and the jury saw that was BS.
Okay. Speaking of jury, so you had two cases. One was found not guilty,
Mistrial,
but it's now set. Okay. You were talking about jurors. What did your jurors look like? Because I've always heard that your jury amongst your peers. And I know I wasn't there. Hell, I missed jury.
Damn sure
What did your jury look
all
like?
white, all white.
All right.
All white.
Mm-hmm.
Males, females?
2 males and 4 females.
You better stop.
Ask you about that, though.
Stop hanging out in white women.
But let me ask you about that.
I'm just saying
Because
that's what they say his peers are. I mean, that's,
I don't know how true this is, but do you sit with your attorney, go through who you think may be the best juror?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they bring in, I don't know what the pool is, I think 35, 36. And so the prosecution's sitting over there, and then we're sitting on this side, and we just read people. Oh, I don't like the way you looked at me. Following me talking. I mean, because that matters. Because
what did the pool look like?
I mean, like Manatee County, majority, maybe 70% white, and here and there, like, you know, a few like black and brown people. But when that I think the 5 black males that we had, they asked, oh, would you feel comfortable with kind of viewing these kind of images? And a lot of them said, nah, I can't do it. Like, it's just because the charge itself. And I think when you really read the jury, when they drop to the jury, this guy's being, you read their faces, and some of them look disgusted, and some of them are like, okay, maybe. And they listen to my attorney, just kind of read, okay, you're smiling at me, even though you know what the charge is. All right, I probably. Right. And so that's kind of where we're going. And so a lot of people cut themselves because they didn't feel comfortable with the charge.
You saw some funny faces.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Saw some funny faces.
Go ahead.
Can I speak about black and brown people cutting?
Your ass to the bathroom.
Hey, I'm close to my man. I'm following protocol. Let me tell y'all something. I'm telling everybody in this room, and I'm telling everybody that's listening. History is in the making, or another right now. One way or another. This is either going to go this sham railroading in the history of the state of Florida, or the biggest exposure of corruption in the state of Florida. And is, what does this community, and Manatee County going to be known for something? What do they want it to be? So cutting themselves, not wanting to stand up. You know, it's funny. We want to run away from jury. We run to jury duty. We don't want no parts of that. And then forget jury duty. If I walk down this street right now, just like I went to the football game with Kevin, with Pop, P-O-P. We went to
the experience. Put some down respect on my
So
name.
we went with Kevin to the JV football game at Palmetto. And I had to make sure I did not respond negatively to was showing the faux love, the fake love. It was killing me dead in them
My
streets
goodness, boy.
for years. And then I remember I was told everybody's not the same. But what I'm saying is this community needs to.
Somebody ain't speak to you.
Right. Somebody ain't get them though. We have to decide what we want for these children. Forget me, man. Forget Quentin. If we're gonna talk about LMA, Quentin's not in the equation for all of y'all who work at LMA. So if Quentin Peterson was a no good joker who escaped, he escaped from Manatee County Public Schools. Manatee County Public Schools brokered his resignation. Manatee County Public Schools didn't report. Manatee County Public Schools, if I'm not mistaken, because your resignation was tendered on September 1st. Your resignation wasn't effective till September 12th. We get paid on the 10th. So they let him stay for a whole nother. And then he went to work in Sarasota. And then he was there. It blow up. Y'all want to make it about me. Y'all want to make it about LMA. He never worked at LMA.
Wow.
And he was
Amazing,
the responsibility of the school district of Manatee. What this reminds me of, shout out to the family, because but I'm going, we here, right? Lamont Houston,
Truth be told.
my dude, truth be told, whatever happened with Mont happened that summer at the youth center. He was working for his former coach.
Sir.
The young lady was already done with Lincoln and heading to Palmetto High. It happened there. But when the press hit, Lincoln Middle.
My goodness, man.
That didn't happen. It happened right next door at the youth center. And just like Reggie's Lamont's coach, Reggie is Quentin's cousin.
Yeah.
But maybe because we're both catching all the heat for him, but enough is enough.
How'd you mention that? Go ahead.
So I'm just sitting there listening to all of this, you know, even from the first episode that we had with Ed LMA. It's like a fiction movie, man. It's like, how is these people able to do this? How is the school board able to do all this when according to what y'all telling me? How's the court evidence, man? It's like it seemed to me they want Ed so bad till they're just throwing stuff out. It's like an O.J. Simpson case.
Yeah. Well,
they want OJ so bad till they was just sloppy. Trying to get the evidence, you know. It's crazy, man.
They wanted Quentin Peterson so bad that it got sloppy. I'm going on the record again, and I say this to Quentin all the time. If anybody ever asked me did something, I would say, the hell if I know. I'm not running around saying he didn't know he did.
Yeah.
Because whatever it was took place at whatever, while he was interacting with a family that he was friends with. It didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying he did anything. I couldn't truthfully say yes or no. The problem is they have the microphone. They have the media. And our community, passive by nature, unfortunately, is passive. What they did wasn't legit. And it's not about what I'm saying. It's about what the facts show. We have that affidavit. We have the CPS report. We have the water bill. We have the statutes. So we know none of that stuff was true. But the district is basically saying what y'all gonna do about it. And by the way, we're gonna use your taxpayer dollars to drag it out. And y'all get bold and come to the meeting, we'll use Reverend Golden to I'll just swallow it. He get up there, oh, I'm a black man, I'm a preacher, and then everybody go okay and walk away. So it shouldn't be happening.
Yeah.
It shouldn't. And I think when this community is looking at it as Ed Hundley and Quentin Peterson, children, look at it as Kevin Jackson. Y'all need to do a whole episode on the fact that Kevin Jackson is one of the staples of the city. He's worked with more kids than just about anybody. He held it down at Lincoln. And for whatever reasons, they saw fit to have him be the one that they had to remove from that campus, and nobody said anything. I found a shirt that says Lincoln and it had had pride, and they ordered a shirt that had it without the pride because they can't use my stuff anymore.
Yeah.
They were trying.
Yeah.
And I laughed. I said, that's exactly what happened. They snatched the pride out of the school. Him, and you look over there now, he just completely destroyed just about any remnants of what we had going.
Absolutely.
And everybody's okay with that. We're just sitting here and watching those kids. By the way, 3 points from a C, and that we were under attack the whole year. Right now, they're 3 points from an F.
What?
Ain't nobody saying anything. That's just me.
I'm glad you brought that up.
That's just me talking.
And especially about the community, Mr. Peterson and yourself, because social media now, like our community, they'll get behind saying something like youth league coaches, for instance. Oh, he don't know how to coach. You know, the whole damn. Oh man, he don't need to coach. Get him off the sideline.
Right.
Get Maria Green off the sideline. He don't want to coach. But when it comes to the community getting behind y'all and fighting, you know, with y'all because y'all are innocent, our community won't. But we'll get behind some BS. We'll get behind some bullshit.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying earlier, B. I have never seen nobody fight the school district the way.
Yeah, but and then you only got a small that's behind him fighting along with him and Quentin. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Why not the whole community? You know what I'm saying? The whole community get behind, getting Marino from Palm, getting Jaquez Green from Manatee because they feel like coaching. But why not get behind Mr. Hundley and Mr. Peterson? Hey man, these some innocent black men that you know had a good service for our kids in our community. Why we ain't standing by?
That's a good question.
They should change their names to.
Maybe we'll get behind that shit.
They'll say them damn
our community, we all that stupid shit you see on Facebook about coaches. Be passionate about getting behind these black men. These people, you know, just trying to put in jail or slandering their name for nothing.
I can answer that before you. You know what happens to people that stand up and fight? You get transferred to. Because it's right after he did Truth Be Told, right after he started going to the board meeting, he was public enemy number one, and he ain't gonna say it, but I'll say it because I wish he would. I wish Willie would. I wish they started harassing my man. They talking about you ain't not with the program, all this inappropriateness because he spoke the truth. And because he spoke the truth, he got removed. Now, he may have landed even in a better spot, and I get into that, but that's the politics we got going on here. Because if we lost, by the way, Lincoln is the most impoverished middle school and the lowest performing middle school, and they didn't get any Title I money this year. Somebody asked me why. I'll tell you why. Because in January, school, Florida statute says those kids are supposed to be dispersed to the other district schools because that school doesn't exist anymore. Cost center 2173, which is assigned to my company. What does Manatee do with the commissioner? Nobody, Buffalo Creek didn't want those kids. Palmview didn't want those kids. So they kept them there illegally from January till July. Y'all didn't get a new ID number till August. Absolutely. So that whole time writing the grants,
They still operating off of LMA.
Correct. For Title I, they couldn't count those 400 kids because they didn't belong to any cost center. So right now, those kids who need that money and that assistance the most don't have any time. But ain't nobody saying nothing. And the worst part is that when you talk about just abuse, if you lost all your Title I money, then and you work in the school too, those are all the extra reading coaches. Lincoln has 300 kids. They got a principal, an assistant principal, a principal, assistant principal, 2 deans, 2 magnet coordinator. a GET, which is a graduation enhancement tech that comes with Title I money. So all of those positions are there. All of those positions cost at least double what his. The person who had to go was Kevin Jackson. All right, y'all, back to the regularly scheduled program.
Can I? Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question.
That's fine.
This is gonna go back a little bit, but I think you're hitting some good points. In hindsight, is there anything you would have done differently in hindsight?
Yep. I would have not given some people, because the other part of this is the district couldn't do it. They had people on the inside. B shaking his head because he always said, you can't trust all these people. He was always saying that. They had people on the inside helping them. And so by nature, foster and develop people and kids and try to get everybody thing. But in hindsight, I would not have kept all of them. Because no matter what, they weren't down with the program. They didn't like the new way. They wanted to go back to just that. So I wouldn't have done that. The second thing is, because it's easy to say, but I don't know if I would have been able to do it. I would have stepped away and been more CEO. But the problem with that is we were in our first year. I had to be there to make sure everything went the way it went. I'm working on that. They were up there in the treehouse working on a plan to kill us. And so I definitely done that. But I'm going to tell you like this, man. The kids speak for themselves. I saw them kids at Palmetto. Now, I wouldn't have changed anything about what we did for those kids. We did what we were supposed to do. And we had a major impact that nobody around here, just for the record, on that academic piece, which Lincoln Memorial Academy went up in every single category of reading and mathematics. It's 6 of them on the FSA. We went up in every single category. We should have been damn near B. Like an avalanche in this one area of civics. And it just happened to be taught by the same 2 people who happened to go back to the district and get a promotion and happened to pay us lawsuit, and that's why I'm countersuing. But there's no coincidence. We went down 50 some odd points in civics alone. So they wiped out the work of all the math. Your wife is one teachers, all the language arts teachers. We went up in.
That's what it's about.
And in case you thought it wasn't a fluke, once those people left and you brought in 2 brand new people, civic scores shot right back up.
Let me ask you this.
That's wild, man.
I regret writing reference for Quentin.
Zoom in. Hell no. And I'll tell you why. I'm not going to change because false narrative for him. When I wrote that, you got me. I'm repeating what you said. There's 2 forms. Now we going. Can we go on the record right now? I'm on the record right now. You can read it. I did one reference, and then your former colleague falsified a phone reference. I didn't do a phone reference. She testified to it, and so did Darlene Prue. She called for a phone reference. I wasn't. Prue gave her a phone reference. She emailed in the doc. You've seen it. She emailed me and said, hey, I need a reference for Quentin, but you weren't there. You can either email or call me back. I emailed her. I said one sentence. Congratulations, hired Mr. Peterson is awesome, or something like that. I answered those questions. When I got her under oath, I said, did you ask me those questions? Well, no, not verbatim. The judge said, it doesn't matter. It should have been a red flag because they all assumed he that's what people need to know. They could produce this alleged phone reference I did, but nobody can produce the one Prue did, because then you'd have to say, yeah, the black man's wrong, but the white assistant already on probation who got to stay at the school and run it. She don't count. She gave him a better reference than I did.
My goodness.
So what?
Wait a minute, hold on, Ed.
So I'm telling everybody, I would not change. That's That's why they kill us now. The proper thing to do for that job, he was not found guilty of anything. He wasn't under any school board investigation as far as I know. And when he left, he didn't leave from Lincoln Middle. He left from under the district supervision, and Troy to the investigator for the district. So if anybody was supposed to report anything, it was them. He didn't work for me anymore. He didn't work for me since May 24th, 2017. May 24th, had him as an employee. He applied to Sarasota in 2017, September or October. He was down with the district then. So I already had a new.
Wait, Mr.
Good
Troof,
man.
Mr. Peterson, a better reference than you did. You never even answered the questions. So basically, you saying she answered all the questions they wanted to know, and she probably elaborated. And oh, he's this, he's that, da 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 da, and you only gave.
Right. Well, what happened is Lori Breslin, when the old former superintendent of Sarasota, we know how he was, Bowden, he came down and put that pressure on Booker and said, well, the truth is, Manatee never reported it. Certificate. So when Sarasota checked, there was nothing there. That's the truth. The story became, because I just gave, I'm all powerful reference now, and they hired him because of that. Here's the deal. To the Commissioner of Education, telling him she did it, telling him we checked with CPS and everybody before we even gave him a reference. He's not my dog. But I'm not putting I've never had any ever. So when he asked for it, we checked. CPS said, nope, no open case. So there was no problem.
We were standing right there in front of the school.
There was
you and
no problem.
So why is Prue not under?
That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Mr. Hundley's under
because the
school district of Manatee County.
That's correct.
I'm trying to
Because the
discuss-
people who sent me, the people who sent my certificate up for action, same people that are really guilty of not doing it. They needed a scapegoat. She had the commissioner breathing down her neck. How did y'all hire him? The real reason they hired him is because he was already working there for 5 months before they made him full time. He was just months. So when they hired him, they didn't do another check. Hey, when I spoke to her on the phone, this is what she said. Hey, yeah, we're hiring Quentin. I hope he doesn't leave us to come to your charter because we really like him. That's what she said. She never asked.
all three administrators told
They
me
were in love with
And it sounds like
You were gonna lead them, right?
I was 100%.
Well, I know you was coming back to the crib.
It sounds like Prue was there just to get all this whole sabotage thing.
I don't know about
God.
that, and this is what I'm gonna say to that. Something that I can't defend.
Right,
to
right.
you.
I understand.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna tell you how this works. I have provided 99,000 pieces of evidence against the district, but the minute I say something that's not one, they're going to just say, see, and erase all of that. I don't know or care what the hell Prue was doing. What I do know is she wrote a letter to the commissioner. She said it under oath during her deposition. Troy Nelson did it, asked her the questions again. She gave him, and he wrote it down, and we have a copy of it and submitted it into the courts. Let me tell you like this: 2 things, man. If somebody come and get me, y'all need to pack Africa. That's number 1. That means they can do whatever they want. This in federal court, it don't have anything to do with anything except they got the juice all the way through because they are dead to rights. Period.
Right.
Period.
Two
Sarasota send me up and not send her up.
Right.
Hey, man.
2 questions. Quentin, do you feel like you got the same amount of support that Mr. Hundley got with the LMA situation?
Yes and no. I think see Lincoln as the kids, which is rightfully so. Like they're supporting LMA because they know this is the best option for the kids, which I respect that. And then the other hand, a lot of people, when you get charged with something like this, a lot of people, they have to have some kind of evidence. There's no excuse.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing I dealt with, and that's kind That's kind of why I went into like, hey, I'm gonna stay at home and not go out. But a lot of people were just assuming, and that support kind of failed. But once that with the mistrial, everyone was like, you know, I knew they didn't have you.
Yeah, that's
Like the thing is, I didn't contact a lot of people. I knew people supported me, but I knew they didn't contact me, giving me space, which I respect that. But there were some people. I was ignoring him, but yeah, no, I don't think I had as much support as him. But as more of the facts started to come out, and then the verdict, I feel like
And
we
my
had the
second,
same support. Hold up, MC. Stop it! MCC4J is Manatee Concerned Citizens for Justice. We got True Live Gangsters on there.
We do.
We got Miss Gwen Betty. I'm not gonna name names because I don't want to forget anybody, but everybody hug. But Reverend Mazon, who's the pastor of his church, who's been in his corner the whole time. It's the that was rocking with me. We're rocking with him. It's just that were with me, we're with him. But I'm gonna say something to this community before y'all go on that next question. You wanna know what a real problem is? You wanna see the gangsters going up, calling them out on the LMA? Look like us. We got people from the Tea Party going. The lady that they claim, oh, she was with the Proud Boys. Yeah, she may have been, but she stood on the mic and said, y'all are wrong for what you did to LMA. I know you're lying, and we can't get our black leadership to do it.
No, sir.
and that's
I don't see no color.
That's the next thing I was gonna hit on. You know, we just did, you know, a episode and we had Reggie Bellamy on. We were asked to stay away from certain questions. Want us to ask him certain questions. Since this has came about, has he came to support? And I know he's your cousin, Mr. Peterson. You know, has Mr. Bellamy
He can go first.
to you know, support you all?
He's my cousin.
Uh-oh.
My aunt and my uncle both babysat him as a kid. He is my blood cousin. Haven't heard a single prior to the. Maybe I'll see him driving. But when it came to the verdict, I thought I'd at least get a call. You know, didn't get that. When I see him on the street, never congratulations. What up, cuz? That's it. Yeah, nah.
I'm not.
Do y'all? What was y'all?
I mean,
close. Y'all always talk.
I mean, yeah, no. We like he was at the.
I mean, I'm not trying to slander nobody, but y'all.
No, and I'm not either. These are all facts. I would go to the youth center now and then, like, and just talk to him, like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Bells, whatever. I would go say hello. We'll talk. Like maybe 5-10 minutes, just about random stuff, you know. And he would ask, you know, if you need to talk, you know, let me know. But you know, that's kind of where the talking kind of died down. Just facts. I was on a Zoom with Reggie, and he said something. I didn't come for Reggie. I left this. I feel sorry for the people that are not doing with this. When the commissioner says, I didn't get involved in that, this is District 2. Yep. That school is the hottest thing going in District 2. The impact of what happened to those kids is the biggest issue. You have District 2 and you have 3 elected officials basically responsible for District 2. On the school board, you have Charlie Kennedy. He I don't care, I know do more, but I'm grateful for what he did so far. He went out there and he just said, I'm not going to just talk. Here's a sworn affidavit and submitted it into the federal courts. That's one. The other one is you have the city of Palmetto. We have Shelton Jones and we have, they called the mayor out. You're lying. That's not true. We shouldn't have done that. That's wrong what we did to the school. They stepped up. And then the one with more juice than any of them is the county commissioner. And he's saying, I can't get involved. You were present when Ms. Saunders came in and bamboozled the staff and she got escorted. I call them the rotten fruit of Islam. The 3 rotten fruit of Islam escorted her. Reggie Bellamy.
True.
Willie Newton.
walked in and hushed the crowd and quieted the crowd and convinced the crowd that what she was saying was the deal.
So he can do that.
That was
Then after that,
takeover.
then after that, and I feel for my boy step up and crush them. Because B Pool got led to believe, oh, y'all come in and hey man, B try to take advantage of the situation. They're gonna try to do a school. That's cool. Reggie, they meeting with the mayor, they meeting with the superintendent. To take that piece of paper out of the application and to show Reggie and Tarnisha as board members? How you not in it, but you on the board of the school to take over Lincoln?
Right.
And what he do? He made. I never told him I was gonna be on this board. Left that. Can't tell me. There's a videotape of you giving a whole speech at Lincoln, but then now that the facts are out, you said in your speech you met with Saunders. He never once talked to us. Tarnisha,
that's why I wanted to know why he wanted us to stay away from.
They got that ghost message. They went over there and got that message from her, and that's almighty. Talk to us.
And that's why I want.
That's
when
why
we had them on the
about
show,
it.
he asked us to stay away from LMA questions, stay away from Pamela Houston questions.
You know what that's like? That's like being president of the United States and we going to war and you.
Right.
LMA is the biggest thing in this. Name the damn park. And just for the record, instead of all that fighting, why couldn't we just name it Coach? What's my man's name?
Eddie Shannon?
Field at Lincoln Park. Do that
Yeah.
because Lincoln Park belongs to all the alumni, not just the football players. And when I saw Henry Lawrence say that's not right, all you had to do, matter of fact, all you had to do was leave what was in place there. Be a turf field over there, but y'all still ain't get it because I'm not picking a side. I'm gonna ask you like this: y'all made the decision, y'all voted, and it happened. I know what was under works with Charles, and you could feel any type of way, but I was holding it down for District 2. Whether you like him or not, whatever. You might not like how he do his hair, but he was holding it down. Tell me what my man did. Oh, I can tell you. The youth center stopped having a football team for a minute. The football field didn't get turfed. It's a controversy over naming the school. And you're just chilling while they getting ready to do redistricting and cut all the black vote out of any relevance. All right, so y'all keep voting the way y'all feelings and voting the way you vote. I don't care. Control who your local politicians are, because that's what impacts you every day. Absolutely.
My goodness, man.
Wow.
So Quentin, let me ask you something, Quentin. All this Ed's situation, Ed told us he's been out of 3-4 years.
I should have had a job at the youth center.
Well, what is your occupation situation is right now? What's going on? Are you able to
Tell the truth.
Yep. No, I mean, I'm not able to because background checks, but I guess I'm just blessed that I got a granddad that runs his own mechanic business. So I've been kind of working with him doing mechanic work out of parish and just kind of.
So this situation hindering you from
Absolutely, yeah. And housing, because everybody does background checks.
Well,
and this easy. I mean, I tried to be an Uber driver. They said, "Oh no, you can't because you got this looming charge."
Wow, you can't even be an
Whoa.
Uber.
I tried Uber, Lyft. I did an interview for like a at the Florida Aquarium, kind of work with summer students, whatever.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna do a background check," and I had to go, "Hey, nah, pull out."
My goodness, man. So granddad?
Yeah,
my granddaddy did. I don't have no
granddaddy
granddaddy
did?
give me a job. I don't have no granddaddy give me a job. But what I want to say about Quentin before I forget, man, one thing, people that knew better, we had people that didn't buy the hype, and I want to, and POP here is a witness,
The experience. Put some respect on my
is a
damn
witness. Mr. Peterson did a phenomenal job. Not a decent job, a phenomenal job as kids on the music that were not even interested. We're performing at Disney. We're going and getting exemplaries in the evaluation system that Lincoln didn't even participate in for years.
We were seasoned teachers.
We were outperforming seasoned teachers. I didn't want to do it. Slow down. So now, with that, I want to give this accolade. And any Florida Gator fans out there, there was a young lady who her whole life. She came to Lincoln, rocking and rolling right before LMA. Mom, I want to stay for one class. A few months later, she wanted to stay for 4 classes. A couple of months later, she go to school full time. She takes up. She's going in. She's handling business. She's doing her thing. She just graduated high school and made the University of Florida band in her freshman year out on the field with the football play. And she learned from. You was only teaching her for what, 3 years?
Yeah.
2.5 years. He taught her to play the saxophone well enough to make the University of Florida marching band in her freshman year.
Whoa.
These are all we don't talk about because these folks are mad. They dumped all that dirt on top of us, and you don't see the shine. I'm shaking mine off. I recommend he does the same thing. And I'm going on the record saying you need to sue the commission. The letter he wrote because you still have not been found guilty. Calling you anything other than Quentin Peterson, that's libel and slander.
Oh.
And you need to protest to get your certificate back. You never should have taken it before you were found guilty.
Yeah, real quick. We getting low on time, but real quick, we Jack, I believe. I kind of wanted you to elaborate on what the letter said and what it specifically mean that was sent. Also, too, once again, there's a lot of stuff that, and the hood said that I guess there was a training, not sure what agency or what have you, but there's a training that was going on, and it was in regards to, I guess, how they handle certificates or certification. I don't know. It was in the training. Your case was an example of what not to do,
right?
When it comes to this business.
The Education Commission never should have ruled prior to an offense or a crime being validated. So you can't say I put kids in danger by doing a reference for him when he's not finding the kids even right now. That proceeding, when you start railroading people, you got to keep going down that track, and that's what they're doing. And as far as Randy Kosak, I have respect for dude. You have people working in Tallahassee that know this is dead wrong, but they ain't going against the commissioner. They're afraid. Mr. Kosak is over investigations. So when I called and said, "Hey man, I filed a report against Diana Green," you want to write a letter of reprimand when the statute says she's supposed to report. So we sent it in. I said, I need that file. I need my file. I'm getting ready to go up to the EPC. He said, okay. Then he emailed me back. Here's yours, Mr. I don't have hers because I didn't handle that case. The commissioner's office handled it. The commissioner's office is not supposed to handle no investigations. The commissioner took it. So he said, give me a couple of days. He went and he asked them. I said, well, I need their findings. He said, Commissioner Corcoran, in the first paragraph of the letter, he's talking about on May 24, 2017, Quentin Peterson was escorted off the campus of LMA in handcuffs. First of all, LMA 2017, he worked for the district. Second of all, in handcuffs. Third of all, he goes on to call a man a predator and everything else in the letter, and he's never been found guilty of anything. We have all this evidence. We just have to get in front of this federal thing, hundreds of thousands of dollars to keep that from happening. There's no more talk about what maybe if they're liars, they're scammers, they're not trustworthy, and I pray God they go.
I'm sitting back, man. I'm finna see how this movie gonna end. It's like a movie here, man. I'm sitting back. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to see how this gonna end. Cause boy, this gonna be embarrassed. Somebody should feel shame. Rick, all this stuff I'm hearing, man. All this evidence is out. and they still doing this, yeah, it's a movie.
But
I'm gonna sit
Green,
back and wait. I'm gonna wait to the end, man.
I see where you're coming from with the movie, but at the same time, it's a true story. Lives that's going through a lot of hardship, especially now that you listen to them both speak and they talk about the injustice and how it's but so much has been taken away.
Before we go, Mr. Hundley, I want you to give instruction, and you ain't talking to people right now. You're talking to that citizen in the community, that there's no support from the community or not enough. So if I'm a citizen, I'm looking at this, whether I'm LMA or not, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering, this ain't right. All right. What has to happen? Like, what dramatically can the community do that, like, there's got to be some kind of way on whether it's the board, whether it's the court, even though, sitting back on the ruling, there's got to be something that can be dramatically done. What is that? Educate me.
I believe that some people in isolated incidents step up and go to the board meeting. You've seen them. You've seen Rodney and Betty Lou, MCC4J. You see the people going down there to protest against the mask. You see the people protest about the mismanagement of the money. We need to something where all of these parties go at one time and you have 50, 60 people at one time. I'll furnish LMA shirts for up to 100 people if they ever decide to get up. This is something we tried to do in the beginning, that if we had gotten that and we were able to give our side, we might not be here, but the district was so convincing and people just faded. I mean, people who know better, people who work. I mean, I watched people who knew better start just because these power players, the Braden and Herald said it, so it must be true. So I am working on something with some other folks, and I'll come to Truth Be Told, put it out. Hey, if you're interested in showing support, saga, because it is a saga, shout out to the Bradenton Times and Dennis Mitch Maley for being the one investigative reporter to Truth. He doesn't write what I say. He researches to all the evidence. He doesn't just say it. And that's why the Braden Herald and the Herald Tribune ain't saying jack right now. So shout outs to him. So I would say stop buying that garbage and maybe buy my man's paper and listen to Truth. Tell y'all what date, what board meeting we're gonna go, and I want to see 100 people go to the mic and say, let's stop the BS. We want our school back now. That'll get the record out of Florida. They are insulated. Judges in Florida, they have the media in Florida. We need to make a big enough stink that we go viral for something other than a kick return or something like that.
Yeah, and I'll with you on that, Ed, and I'm gonna go bigger than, man. We got a brother in distress. Like, why we not stepping up, doing anything? Like, let's go, man. Let's go.
I'll make it real.
About this high, man, with a black tie around his neck. Man, let's go, man.
Here we go. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black men sitting right here. This is how easy it is. If we got 10 people to commit to getting 10 people, that's 100. We look like Parrish. We look like Parrish when they wanted to change the name of the high school. They could fill it up. We look like Palmetto High when they wanted the new scoreboard. Y'all remember that? One time, sold out. We look like Lakewood Ranch when they getting bust over here. Y'all remember that? Mm-hmm. But when it came to us, we got about 4 or 5 people down there.
Mm.
Uh-oh. Challenge.
941.
Manatee.
North. P-Town.
P-Town, to be specific.
And y'all ought to love me because Parrish done told y'all, we good. Thank you for letting us come to y'all schools while we ain't had none. But now, and by the way, y'all can't come children getting zoned to Palm View. Let's talk about that. How many kids at Lincoln? 300? It's a district school right now. Y'all don't think they're trying to close it?
It's
only 300 kids. And they can zone kids there. Why they ain't zoning school at Palm View and send all them kids back over to Lincoln? They could do that because they get ready to shut it down, just like they did Harley. But I can't wait, boy. Hopefully I'll be rich and I'll be able to drive. Told y'all. Told you. Told you. Y'all. Where y'all got to go to school? You got to ride an hour to school? Pay attention. You cannot go to Buffalo Creek if you live in Palmetto. All the years they came over here, all the years came to Palmetto High. If you live in 34221, Parish High or Buffalo Creek, you got to go to middle school at an elementary school that don't even have a gym, and we wondering why we getting smashed in these sports too, by the way. You got to go to, that's the district, and everybody's sitting here. Nobody finds Lincoln has 300. Lincoln got less kids than probably Blackburn. 300 kids.
300 kids.
The whole 8th grade wing of Lincoln is shut down. Whoa. The whole and it's not even being used. We were topping 600. 1 year we were growing over 70%, 40%, not 70. Excuse me, 40%. They take over. It's down to 300 kids.
My goodness, man. 100. That's all.
These people, all these black men that's in this have these seats that's just sitting back just because they worried about their paycheck and just letting it happen.
Boy, shoot,
Yeah,
man.
whatever.
My
TBT, that was some powerful stuff. I want to remind the viewers before we get out of here to make sure you hit that subscribe button and that like. We need that. We appreciate y'all logging on, but we need that subscribe button. And I definitely want to give and Mr. Ed Hundley their flowers for showing up,
sir.
Showing out.
Appreciate y'all.
We definitely appreciate you. I'm gonna keep fighting the fight, fella. And as always, you got my support. Palmetto,
Step up.
Manatee County. What y'all gonna do?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here. You already know where I'm at with it, you know. And there was some phenomenal things. School, man, and this community needed back. So we're gonna end it as usual. Shout out to Team Production, Pretty Ricky, what they call him, Technology in the building, and the human app itself. Mr. Window Phase.
What color shirt he got on? What kind of ice cream that is?
Boy, hey, that's Mr. Hey, Miss name for your husband, for you now, not me. Call him.
Look at that sherbet.
All right, fellas, but before I go, to the infamous this side, that side, are there any last thoughts?
I don't know, man. I just hope the community get behind these brothers. I hope these brothers on the square get behind our brother. Hey, man, let's fight, man. Let's continue this fight and fight with them. And these, I don't know, these crazy, get them dismissed and go on, man. This is crazy. Let's get LMA back for our community and these kids, man, and teach our black and brown kids the things that they're not getting.
Second that, man. I second that.
Absolutely. You good?
I think I'm good, man.
All right.
I don't know, man. His Chiefs lost today. I don't know. He might not be that good. Chiefs
No, I'm
lost.
good. I'm
You
good. Let me just one from either one of you guys. I know this is a tough, it may not even be fair to ask. Is there anything, given the fact that you guys have been through all what you've been through, is there any silver lining in anything?
For me, it forced me to see that as much as I thought I had to do everything, that I don't. Things aren't as good as they to be, but they're still moving. And I found out, and I said this on the first episode, I was really neglecting, not abusive neglecting, but there was times that I should have to spend with my family and my kids. And then when that was snatched away from me, all the people that I was grinding for, they just kept on with their lives. And I'm sitting here like, oh, damn, you know? So I definitely handle things differently moving forward. I will respect the power that we had. We had something so strong that it was a threat to other people. I didn't even realize that. We were doing our thing. I respect it now, and I would have to do more to protect it.
Sure. Just being a fighter.
You were a punk. Good.
And you know what? I'm gonna take that. Absolutely. I think that was the biggest thing. Like, I had a hard time wanting to fight. I just thought there's no need to fight the district. It wasn't until I stupidly resigned, and that leading to just crap that, oh, you resigned, so that means
you did something.
Yeah, but I know at the end of this, I just learned to fight. Like that, fighting that, those sweetheart deals they were giving me, I was the biggest thing. I was just too scared to deal with in confrontation. Now it's like I welcome it. Like, I hope people say things to me so I can just shut them down. And that's just something that came out of this.
There we go.
I seen the change in the question.
All right, TD. Y'all for locking in, and as usual, man, it's when it go. I say, well, we're gonna go LMA. We're gonna go a special edition. We're gonna say it's the calm side,
and the lead.
It's the lead, and then it's us.
Truth.
Y'all come to Truth Be Told. You're on the what?
On